Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name's CJ, and today I'm going to be reviewing W.A.S.P's very first self-titled album. This album came out 40 years ago, and to honor the 40th anniversary, I'm going to be reviewing this album today. And actually, I'm going to be reviewing each one of W.A.S.P's 15 studio albums over the next 15 weeks. This is the one that got it started. This is the one that kicked off Blackie and the Boys. They actually have a 40-year anniversary tour going on right now. They're playing this album in its entirety. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started, get to reviewing this album, see what you think. So first off, with this album, like I said, this was the very first album that came out. There's actually an EP, Animal, that came out before this album, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But to start off, we'll go ahead and review W.A.S.P's first self-titled album. So this album right here, this is the one, the original. These are the original members right there. Blackie Lawless, Chris Holmes, Steve Riley, and Randy Piper. So we'll go ahead and start off with the first track. First track here on this one is going to be, of course, the one that kicked off everything, the one where they really kind of got started was I Want to Be Somebody. So I Want to Be Somebody, of course, is that rockin' anthem, the one that really gets everything kicked off, the one that everybody knows. Put your fist in the air. We're going, man. I want to be somebody. It's a good song, really good song. It's probably one of the first songs that I actually heard from W.A.S.P. Years ago. Like I said, good song, really kind of gets the blood pumping, gets things going. I would have to say that song, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Good song. Not great, but definitely a raw. This whole entire album is very raw. Got a lot of good tracks on it. But this one is the one that really kicks it off. This is the one that, when you think of W.A.S.P., most people think of W.A.S.P., this is what you think of. So, 8 out of 10 for that one. Second one is Love Machine. L-O-V-E, Love Machine. So this is another one of those anthems. When he's out there singing it to the crowd, gets everybody pumped up, gets everybody hyped. You really get into this song. You hear everybody singing, L-O-V-E, all I need is my love machine. Yeah, this is a great song. This is another one of those that really kind of gets the crowd going. Another just raw. Like I said, this whole album is raw. You can tell that this was really kind of the first, them just cutting their teeth, getting everything going. Good song though. Another 8 out of 10 is what I would say for Love Machine. Like I said, diehard W.A.S.P. fan here. Been a W.A.S.P. fan for many years. And as we go on, I'll kind of give you my story on how I became a W.A.S.P. fan. I didn't become a W.A.S.P. fan really until the Crimson Idol. I actually had all of the albums up to the Crimson Idol, but never really became a fan until the Crimson Idol. And after that, diehard fan. The Flame is the third track on this album. Good song. Not great. Not great. I would say it's a good song. But this one I'd give a 6 out of 10. Not really one of my favorite tracks. Then we come to Bad, B-A-D, Bad. Make Your Mom and Daddy Sad. Good song. When I first heard it, it didn't really, I had to hear it a few times before I really kind of got into it. You know, if you're a fan of W.A.S.P., obviously you'll know Blackie's vocals are completely different from anybody else. I give Blackie all the credit in the world. Great songwriter. Amazing musician. He plays all instruments. And I think, honestly, he's one of the most underrated songwriters of our time, especially when it comes to rock and metal. You know, W.A.S.P., you can't really put them into a certain category, you know, shock rock, heavy metal, hard rock, glam rock. They kind of encompass all of that. And really, Blackie's writing style and his music style, it's its own genre. You can't really, like I said, put him into a certain style of music. And that's what I really appreciated about it, is the uniqueness. Like I said, he plays all instruments. You know, he started out as a guitar player. He actually was a tour drummer for the New York Dolls, if you didn't know that. That's where he actually got his chops from, playing the drums. And then he was a guitar player for W.A.S.P., and then he ended up becoming a bass player. And then as time went on, he just kind of played all instruments. And like I said, amazing writer, amazing musician, and really one of the most underrated musicians of the rock and metal era. Genre for sure. So B.A.D. I would give a 7 out of 10. Once I listened to it a few times, I was like, okay, hey, I enjoy it. So I'd give that one 7 out of 10. School Days, man, I love this song. This one is probably one of my favorites on the album. This is a great song. It really, I remember when I was in high school and last day of school, I was pumping this song, man. This was a great song. It's got some great transitions into it, some bridge, the chorus, really full, encompasses everything. When I was talking earlier about not really becoming a fan of W.A.S.P. in their early years, Blackie had always said that a lot of people listen to the music with their eyes and not their ears, which is very true because, their stage performance is really kind of what got them the notoriety. Their stage performances were amazing, fire and blood and just wild, just a lot of energy. And, but I always thought that their first albums were missing something. It's almost like their songs weren't complete. It was like, it's just almost there, but it was missing something. It's like, making something for dinner and just not having all the spices there. Having enough, it tastes good, but it's not great. And that's kind of how I attribute the first few albums. But this song right here, School Days, amazing. A great song. Love this song. I would give this song 9 out of 10. Easily a 9 out of 10 on this album for sure. Hellion, great song. High energy, good banger. Just goes after it. From the beginning, just a good driving song. I really like Hellion. I'd give this one 8.5 out of 10. Sleeping in the Fire. This is the quintessential W.A.S.P. This is the best song, in my opinion, on the album. I love this song. Some people would call it a ballad, a power ballad, what have you, but it's more than that. This song it's beautiful, it's intricate, it's heavy. This is one of my favorites for sure. I give this song a 10 out of 10 on this album. This song carries the album for me. So this is definitely one of my favorites. On Your Knees, pretty good song. Pretty good song. Not a great song. A lot of people will disagree with me on this, but I think that this song is just mediocre. I give it a 6 out of 10. Tormentor. Tormentor is actually a pretty good song. I think it's an underrated song that doesn't really get a whole lot of hype, a whole lot of love. But I do like Tormentor. So I would give Tormentor, I'd give this one a 7 out of 10. Decent song. A song that I'd listen to over and over again. And then The Torture Never Stops to wrap up the album. Again, an okay song, not really great. 6 out of 10. Something I'd listen to, but only listen to every once in a while. Not something that I put on repeat. So that wraps it up for this album. Again, not my favorite album. This album's okay. I know that there's a lot of diehard W.A.S.P. fans out there, and most W.A.S.P. fans out there listen to the first 3 or 4 albums. And that's really about it. When you go to the W.A.S.P. concerts, you see Blackie plays a lot of stuff off the first 3 or 4 albums. And that's really about it. Maybe a little sprinkle here and there, Crimson Idol, and that really not much after that, which is fine. But again, the first 3 albums just aren't my thing. Don't get me wrong. They're good albums. They're great to listen to, but I actually prefer Blackie's work, Crimson Idol and after. But not to say that the first 3 or 4 albums aren't good. Headless Children is a very, very good album, and we'll get to that one later on. But yeah, the first album, it's okay. It's pretty good. Especially for starting out. Good album to listen to. I would give it 7 out of 10, to be honest with you. Overall, it's a first album, 7 out of 10. I would certainly recommend, if you've never listened to W.A.S.P., give it a listen. It may sound dated and it may sound raw to a lot of you that maybe have never heard W.A.S.P. before, but it is certainly a good listen. But there are definitely other albums that I would recommend over this one by far. But it is their first album, so you definitely have to give it a listen. As a bonus, this album, this EP right here, this single, Animal, as you know the rest, this is what really kicked it off for W.A.S.P. Even though this was the first album, this was the first single that came out before the album. So it actually wasn't on any albums. But when they first came out, this is what first came out. And honestly, this is killer right here. This was amazing. I heard this and this blew my socks off. This right here is an amazing song. It is very controversial. It is very polarizing. Blackie never added it to his set list for many years because of his Christian beliefs, which we'll get to that as well later on. When I heard it though, man, this it's a great song. This song right here, Animal, is a 10 out of 10. And if you've never heard it, you need to listen to it because this is quintessential W.A.S.P. right here. From beginning to end, this song just rocks. And this will make you bang your head. This one will make you go, wow. It's a pretty wild song. You know, it might even sound a little dated as far as the music and the lyrics, but if you just take all that out and you just put yourself back in the early 80s, this right here is a banger. Again, I'd give this one a 10 out of 10, just for the song itself. The album, like I said, a 7 out of 10. Again, being a diehard W.A.S.P. fan, I definitely have some opinions that may not be aligned with a lot of other W.A.S.P. fans. But again, a lot of other W.A.S.P. fans are W.A.S.P. fans from the beginning, the first 3 or 4 albums. I myself, again, didn't really become a huge diehard W.A.S.P. fan until their 4th album, The Crimson Idol. So take that for what you will. And again, I'm going to be reviewing each W.A.S.P. album every week. If you like what you see, give it a like. And if you want to see more content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And then, you know, hopefully you'll be able to see more and more content as I put it out. And that'd be awesome. Leave me a comment below as well. But hey, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate you checking out my review of W.A.S.P.'s first self-titled album. And I'll see you next week. Thanks again.